Hello everyone, greetings from Zurich and welcome to my channel. Would you like to get some cholera? Seriously, have you ever tried a pie named after a disease? Well, it sounds weird, but there is a delicious pie named cholera. This recipe is famous in Canton Vallis and I've tried it last summer when we were in Zermatt. Well, there are different theories about the unusual name of this pie, but let's go with the pandemic one as it fits better in today's time. So, this delicious pie that I'm gonna bake today is named after a bad cholera outbreak in the 1830s. Like some of us experienced this year, people didn't get access to some of the food and ingredients. They stayed home and they had to cook with whatever they have in their garden and in their cupboards. Well, maybe this pandemic will bring its own delicacies in future, who knows, right? This pie is very customizable. There are different versions of it. Some recipes use puff-pastry, some use pie-crust from scratch. I'm gonna show you how to make both of them and then you can decide which one you want to try. Okay, so let's go and get cooking. Let's get some cholera. Let's start with our pie crust. This crust is made with a few simple ingredients: flour, salt, cold butter and cold water. Make sure that you use cold butter and cold water. The secret to a good crust is to have everything really cold and handle it as little as possible. Then add the cold butter, pulse it 7 to 8 times until the smallest butter pieces are the size of large peas. Add 7 to 8 tablespoons of ice water into the bowl and quick pulse just until the dough starts to get crumbly. But don't over process. It looks loose but it will hold together later. Dump the dough out onto a clean surface. Squeeze it a bit to make it stick together. Don't knead it, just stick it together and form a ball. If it doesn't form a ball, add a tiny bit more cold water. And cut it in half and gather it into 2 equal discs. Wrap them in plastic wrap and refrigerate for at least 30 minutes before using. Wash the potatoes and cook them in gently boiling water until tender, so about 20-25 minutes. Here you can see the ingredients of our filling. The potatoes are the base that gives the pie its structure. The main flavor is added with the leeks, onions and cheese, beautifully balanced with the sweet apples. I'm gonna use the mountain cheese in this pie and raclette in the puff pastry one. Add a spoon of olive oil into a medium pan. Add the onions first and fry for about a minute. Add the leeks and a spoon of salt, give them a good stir and cover it. Cook it until they are soft and start turning a bit brown. It takes about 10 minutes and remove from pan and let cool. Since the sliced apples begin to turn brown as soon as you slice them, save this step for last. You can use green or red apples. I've tried both of them and I like the green ones more. Flatten the dough with your hand a bit, but try not to work the dough too much. Here we go, now we can start rolling it. Roll each piece on a board into a circle, rolling from the center to the edge. Turn the dough sometimes to make sure it doesn't stick to the board. Just put even pressure on the dough. Spread it onto a baking sheet and place it nicely in your pie pan. Softly press and get the dough into the edges. And that was our bottom crust. Now let's roll out the other circle for our top crust. And if it breaks like mine, you can just fix it as I did. Now preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius. Here are our ingredients: roasted leeks, onions, grated mountain cheese, sliced apples, potatoes, salt and pepper. Spread the potatoes evenly on the pie dough. Season with salt and pepper. Lay the apple slices and cover them with onions and leeks. Add the grated cheese on top of them and repeat it for the second layer. Let's slide it around a bit and finish it up. Cover it with the top crust. Seal around the edges. Add a pinch of salt and beat the egg yolk and brush the top of the pie. I used these metal cutters to decorate the lid and create some holes to let the steam escape. Place it in the preheated oven for about 15 minutes or until the top is golden. Okay, now let me show you the puff pastry one. Coat the entire inside of your pan with butter. Place your puff pastry sheet in the pan and press it nicely. Prick the base several times with a fork. Spread the potatoes first, then apples, and season them nicely with salt and pepper. Now add the leeks and the cheese. This time I've used raclette. And repeat it for the second set of layers. Cover it with the second puff pastry sheet and cut off these parts and seal around the edges. Add a pinch of salt and beat the egg yolk and brush the top of the pie. Decorate it a little. I used these metal cutters to decorate the lid and create some holes to let the steam escape. You can also make a few holes on top with a fork. And it's ready. Place it in the preheated oven for about 15 minutes or until the top is golden. Mine took around 1 hour 10 minutes. Let it cool for 5 to 10 minutes and slice it with a long and very sharp serrated knife. The puff pastry got golden, but the inside of the pie was a bit watery. I think I could have waited 10-15 minutes longer. I couldn't cut the first one correctly, so I try again. And here I'm tasting my pie and enjoying it. Okay, now let's get the pie crust one out of the oven. My pie took 2 hours to cook. Let your pie rest for at least 5 to 10 minutes before slicing. Meanwhile, I prepared and served my Turkish tea. Now it's the hardest part, waiting for it to cool. Slice it with a long and very sharp serrated knife. Gute miteinander. Enjoy your meal. Afiyet olsun. Let's take a look inside. Okay, now it's tasting time. I'm so excited. I'm just gonna take a bite. For me, it's fantastic. It's so yummy. It is so delicious, so good, so tasty. I'm so happy. I'm proud of myself. And I have my tea with me. A glass of white wine would also do just fine, but tea is also good. By the way, you can put the rest in the refrigerator. It is just fine for a couple of days, and you can warm it up or eat it just cold as well. We had the previous puff pastry one, both cold and warm. I prefer warm better. And to be honest, I like this one more than the previous one. What is the difference? In the first one I've used puff pastry, and red apples. What did I do else? And I've used raclette as cheese. And in this one, I've made pie crust from scratch. I've used the leftovers, potatoes and leeks. And for cheese, I've used mountain cheese. I think this cheese tastes better than raclette, in my opinion. And I think these Granny Smith apples, these green ones, also taste better. If you ask me, I would make the pie crust from scratch. I would use mountain cheese and good amount of salt and green apples, Granny Smith apples. Anyway, so that's it. I think I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Thank you for watching me. And if you like my video, please don't forget to give me a big sweet thumbs up. And please make sure that you subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I think now I'm gonna go and edit this video. And I will see you in my next video. Stay happy, stay safe. Cheers, bye bye.